Welcome back, everyone. It is Thursday, May 15th in the MLB. We have two picks inbound. As always, it's Austin, joined by Logan, recapping yesterday. 1-1 day, losing a little bit of juice. We had D-backs first five team total. I wish one of those you just laddered it up because what do you give up, like 8 runs, Jordan Hicks? We certainly take that. Yankees Mariners over 8. Couldn't get any timely hits. Also, when you start the game with a robbed homer, you know it ain't hit. You just know that's just if you rob a homer first AB. Yeah, we're just, you know how that game's going to go. But a 1-on-1 day, we can live with that. Today, another short card, not a big slate of action today. But Logan and I got some picks, and some of them start pretty early. So we'll get these locked in. My pick actually starts super early. I believe it's like a 12:45, 12:10 first pitch. Let's start with it. Twins, first five team total over 1.5. Same exact line yesterday as what we did with the D-backs. Now, I'd say a D-backs, I had like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 confidence there. I'd maybe move the Twins down maybe to 7 or 8, but I still think this is a team that's seeing the ball really well, and they can get us runs through 5. Now, I looked at taking Tomoyuki Sugano's over and earned runs, which is 2.5. His outs line is 17.5. So I think he gives up at least 2, maybe 3. That the earned runs is juiced a little bit towards the over, but I don't like counting on teams to score 3 if I can count on them to score 2 with maybe one less inning. I mean, Sagano could pitch a masterclass, maybe give up 2 earned runs in the 6th or 7th. But I think if they're going to get to him, they get to him early. And that's kind of what teams have been doing to Sugano. I don't mind maybe a first 5 over here. Chris Paddock and the O's are really good against righties, but I don't really want to get involved with Paddock. I just like counting on one team to do their job and not 2. So I'll stick with the Twins, who have been red hot. They are on a 10-game winning streak. They've been seeing righties really well. In fact, over these last 10 games since May 3rd, the Twins have scored 2 runs or more on all 8 righty starters they've seen, 3 or more on 6 of 8. So during that time span, they're only batting 254 with a 111 WRC plus, which are about middle of the pack, 10 to 15 its range. And they've actually have a pretty high strikeout rate, 24% during that time span, 7th highest. But Sugano, we'll talk about him in a second, not a high strikeout guy. And what really they've been able to do is get those timely hits. But let's talk about Sugano, who's pitched really well. If there's any saving grace for the O's, who's been a disaster of a start through 40, 42 games, whatever it may be, it has been their pitching. And the only one that's been a saving grace for him has been Sugano, who pitches to a 2.7 ERA and 1.01 whip. But some regressions on the way, because you look at his StatCast numbers, he is 13th percentile in expected batting average, 20th in expected ERA. He's also, as I said, the Twins have been striking out a good amount. He's only 5th percentile in K percentage and 14th in whiff rate. So he's not a guy that generates a lot of swing and miss. And he's coming off a masterclass, 7 1/3, 1 earned run versus the Angels. But you look at his last 6 starts, 2 or more earned runs in 4 of his last 6. And when I just look at the one, his expected ERA, it's at a 4.89. So a 2.72 to 4.89. There's got to be some regression coming somewhere in there. Let's hope it can come today at the hands of the Twins. Sugano's also pitched worse in day games to a almost near 4 ERA with a 3.04 batting average allowed. As I said, this is a day game, an early start here. And again, the Twins, what we need, hits with runners in scoring position. That's the name of the game. Yesterday in the Yankees-Mariners game, we couldn't get them. The D-backs were able to get them as well, though Jordan Hicks was walking guys too, so he was helping out the cause. But Sugano's one saving grace this year, and why his expected ERA is so high, but his regular ERA is not, has been able to get out of trouble. And if the Twins can get to him, well, they're going to need to get those timely hits. But this season, Sugano, just a 192 batting average with runners in scoring position. That's very good. I got to tip the cap there. But can he continue that the whole season long? I don't know. He's been facing some teams that I'd argue aren't the best. He faced the Angels. They're not very good. Faced the Royals twice and cooked them pretty much. And the Royals are an offense you never know what you're getting from them on a daily basis. I think the Twins over here can get the job done. Since May 3rd, the Twins are batting 329 with a 156 WRC plus with runners in scoring position, both top 4 in the MLB. If you are going to win games and you have a 10-game winning streak, what's going to happen is you're going to need timely hits, and they've been getting them. I hope they can continue to get them today in this early start as they look to sweep the Orioles, and I think they'll have plenty of chances against Sugano. He doesn't strike out guys. They can put the ball in play. Good things happen. That's what they say. There could be an error, so even Sugano might pitch well, but maybe there's an error in there. Certainly could happen. I've seen it happen plenty of times. Again, I'll take the Twins first 5 team total over 1.5. A little bit more juice than I want to drink, but on a short slate with not a lot to love, I think this is a winner. Twins go get the job done early in this game. But I'm going to throw it to Logan, and then we'll talk about a couple leans that we had, but only 2 official picks. Logan's actually going to my game for a little hit parlay. Logan, who will you be backing in this game?
Yeah, we're gonna start with a hit parlay, 2 legs. First leg, Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles to record a hit. Second leg, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Blue Jays, each to record a hit. Parlay it together. You're getting minus 121 on Fanatics. Next best odds, if you're not using Fanatics, slight difference in FanDuel -124, Bet365 -134, DraftKings -137, a little more juiced on DraftKings if you are playing it there. Let's talk about the first leg, though. It's a game Austin has already touched on. It's going to be Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles. We need a hit from Gunnar. Now, we know a few days ago I really wanted to back Gunnar for 2 bases, got rained out, and I did not run it back against Simeon Woods Richardson. Of course, he gets 2 hits in that game. That just makes total sense, right? He's on a 7-game hit streak, and he faces a righty at home today. That was the criteria I was looking at to back him for his original basis, and he gets that same criteria again today with Chris Paddock. He against right-handed pitching, Gunner's hitting .462 this season. Incredible splits there for Gunner. If you just taken him for a hit against righties at home, he's usually delivering. He faces Chris Paddock in the Twins today, as I mentioned. Paddock primarily uses the fastball and the changeup. Gunner hits well against those pitches. 293 against the 4-seamer, 333 against the changeup. So he's seeing both those primary pitches for Chris Paddock pretty well. I think he does get a hit today. I mean, Gunner's fast. He's good at getting on the base. He's good at beating infield singles as well. I really do like Gunner. Then the second leg is going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to record a hit. Now, he faces Zach Littell and the Rays at home. Against Littell, Guerrero's seen him before. Of course, they're in the division. He's 3 for 5, batting .600 against Littell. All 3 hits are singles. We're not asking for bases for Vladdy today. If he wants to go crush a homer, that'd be cool. But all we need is a single. And I do like to see that he is getting those hits, just in general against Littell. Guerrero Jr. has a hit in 14 of his last 15 games, including a hit in both games versus the Rays already this series. Again, he's just got to go out and do what he does best. Put bat on ball, and normally he's getting hits in this situation. Right, Littell is a reverse split righty. Right-handed batters are having more success versus him. They're hitting .247 against Littell. And the last point to note why I like both these hitters as well. Both these hitters bat near the top of the lineup. They're not leadoff guys, but they bat in the 2 slot or 3 slot. They should be able to have the maximum amount of plate appearances. We need to cash this one. All we're asking is each of these 2 guys to record a hit, and we're going to cash this parlay. I love this as my favorite player prop of the day. Totals are once again retired for the time being, but Austin, I think this one's going to cash.
Yeah, joining the retired list, we have totals, full game totals. Those just don't seem to pay for us. Hits, runs, RBIs, I'm out on those. And both to score 2 or more runs in the first 5-7 innings. We just have to ban things that just don't pay. And so those are the banned things. Logan, let's talk about a couple leans. One that I looked heavily at, and it's a 2-leg parlay, is Osvaldo Bido's under and outs, 15.5. Parlay with him to give up a walk, which I think is -135 on DraftKings. He's just a very inefficient pitcher. I didn't take it because he somehow seems to always get to 5 1/3, and that would really piss me off. But I do think he gets rocked today. His earned runs line is 3.5. So, woof, I wanted to fade him, but we haven't had a lot of luck on the outs market, and so I'd rather just avoid it. But that would be my next play if I had to do one. Is there anything else you looked at? I know you looked at a game pick in the Reds game.
Yeah, I did look at the Reds on the run line. Again, backs against the wall, a terrible White Sox team that's coming into your house and just beating you up. Avoid the sweep potential here. I think the Reds do respond against Bryce Wilson today. Again, though, where's my confidence in that pick? It's like a 5 out of 10. Just because I know when I back a guy like Nick Martinez, who's, he's a steady Eddie guy, right? He normally goes in and eats up innings, allows like 2 to 3 earned runs. No, he'll probably save 5 earned runs on my head. I know how that game will work. So I'm not touching the Reds on the run line. But the fact that they are such heavy favorites, again, it makes sense because Bryce Wilson, in my eyes, is a terrible pitcher. But we'll see if the Reds do bring the bats and make that game not close.
Yeah, speaking of guys with a 3.5 earned runs line, that would be Bryce Wilson as well. But they've been giving guys high earned runs line in that series for the White Sox, and those guys aren't even sniffing over there.
No.
They've just been cooking the Reds. So we'll see if they can show up. Hopefully the Reds -1.5 can cash. Maybe we can get those game picks back up and moving. But our 2 picks, Twins first 5-team total over 1.5. Gunner and Vladdy hit parlay. Let's go 2-0 today, Logan, and let's bring out those little mini brooms. We'll see you guys back tomorrow with probably a bigger slate of action. We'll see you guys then. Peace.